Hi Ben, hello Jack. Right, here I am in the new version of Minecraft. Way to give the game away, dude. Yes, as you can see and hear, I've been out looking for horses and found this fellow. At least, this is the only one I've found anywhere close to this area. I have found some others which I'll show you in a bit. Next to the, or not next to, on the same continent as the village. I had to go quite a long way out from either of these places to find a newly generated plains area that I could find them on. There was a bunch of these donkeys where I found this fellow. As you can see, I've found some name tags as well. This guy's name is Quill. There's actually an enormous desert next to the plains where I found him, and there were actually 4 desert temples all in different areas, so I got an absolute ton of name tags and horse armour and everything else under the sun, including extra records, gold, you name it. Right, leave him there for the minute. I'll take you down into the ravine. Yes, alright, I'll be back later. And show you what I've been doing down there. Right, here we are. If anything, they've made the villagers even more annoying than they were before. Now, not only do they commit suicide and breed when you don't want to and not breed when you do, they're now continuously going at you. Right, I've expanded a bit down here, built a few more houses around the upper level, and I've also started using the stained clay blocks to decorate the walls of their houses for them. Nice pink one there. What do they do to thank me? They go all the time and give me ridiculously expensive trades. You might notice that I'm moving around rather quickly. I got fed up with having the haste buff from the beacon because it makes doing any sort of detail work where you want to knock out one block at a time almost impossible when you've got a pickaxe like this with efficiency 5 on it. The combination of that and the haste buff makes it almost like creative mode. Click once and you knock out 3 or 4 blocks. So I've changed it over to speed. I can now whiz around at a huge rate of knots. Now, I've not really done an awful lot around here. I've been working more at the village. So let's pop over there and see what we've got. Okay, the first thing I've been doing is sleeping every night, because the zombies in the new version are an absolute nightmare if you happen to be caught out in the dark. So let's just go and make it daytime. Oh, one thing I've got to do in here. Sorry, Ben. You can't have a birthday cake all year. Right, I've decided it was about time I stopped living in a concrete bunker here, and that I should finally get round to building the house that I want up here. I've decided to go with a Japanese architectural theme, adjusted for the fact that you can't have paper-thin walls in Minecraft. Made a little garden area here. This will eventually just be the sort of entrance hall to the house. So first room on one side, and I'll build a doorway through there and a larger building on that side. Japanese architecture is mostly made of wood, very little stone. I've actually used a stone floor in here, but there go the zombies. Where was I? Oh yes, most of this is sort of framed with wood, lots of beams and posts. No arches in Japanese architecture. There's actually a loft up above here, but at the moment you can't get to it. When the building is built on behind there, there'll be a stairway up to an upper level and a doorway through into the top as well. There's a window up the top there. No glass either in Japanese architecture. Right, through here I've done a barn for some horses. I found all this lot a long way to the northwest. This map that I've got here is the whole of this continent, and the plains where I found the horses were far off to the top left there. This is the biggest scale map that you can do in Minecraft. Alright, this is the favourite one, which of course has got a name, Manuka, which is a type of honey. I've started producing some hay bales to use to lay on the floors. Started on this one. Just a few more. Oh, we've got a zombie somewhere again. There doesn't seem to be any way to get away from zombies in this new version. They are always somewhere around. They flock towards you from miles away. Right, again, attempt at Japanese architecture, but I'm making this up a bit because having done a search for Japanese stable on the internet, all I could find was something that somebody had built in Minecraft. That and a lot to do with sumo wrestlers for some reason. Right. Now, when I come to build the next part of my house, I'm going to have to move this thing. Now, when I first built this and dug out the side of this hill a bit to make space for it, I was extremely proud of it. It took me a very long time to build. Right, we'll take you downstairs underground and show you the horrendously complicated excuse me, horrendously complicated redstone. This is a daylight detector, old style. As you may know, that is a daylight detector, new style. So this is all now a bit of a waste. It works by It still works. It works by detecting the grass growing and dying depending on the time of day and whether it's got water over the top of it. But it is now totally unnecessary. Enderman damage. And I want the space to build out on my house. So I'm going to be taking all that out from underneath and putting in some new daylight sensors to turn on and off the street lights that I've got. Right, now this might be a bit short. Oh no, one other thing I wanted to say. I've started tinkering with resource packs as they're now known. I've tweaked the glass pane or glass texture because I don't like the streaky glass, and I don't know if you may have noticed on the map I've changed the markers that are used for your position to make them much smaller. They're all very well, the large ones are all very well when you're looking at the small scale maps, but when you get into the large scale maps, those markers cover up most of the surrounding terrain, so you can't really see where you are. Anyway, I'll be back in a bit when I've stripped out some of that daylight detector, and I'll show you how to set up the new daylight detectors so that they come on and off dawn and dusk, dusk and dawn, other way around. Be back in a bit. Okay, I've had a little creeper accident here. Actually it was 3 creepers, which I stupidly tried to take on all at the same time with my sword. Blew out the bottom of this tree, but it gives me the opportunity to show you how the lights are wired up. There's a redstone torch under each tree, and if I knock this out, you can see that there's redstone wire coming up to this block, which is powered all the time it's daylight, which keeps this torch off. We then have the bottom block of the tree with the lamp above it. Now if I'll do this without getting stuck. If the redstone goes off, this torch comes on, powering this block, which turns the light on. I'm not going to be able to get that back, am I? Sure, I can spare 1 redstone. And now I'm in the hole. Okay, let's get out again. Let's just put that back. Now, that redstone line is kept powered by the light sensor, which is now under this bush here. In the original room, we now have nothing. I'm going to leave this open like this. It may turn into a cellar of my house, depending on exactly where that appears. This is the original path that the signal came down. It's now coming back the other way. The light sensor is there. Now, the output from the light sensor varies with the time of day. If you take the power straight from it, it'll only go to 0 quite late in the night and come back on early in the morning while it's still dark. So in order to have the lights coming on and off at dusk and dawn, I've got 3 blocks redstone wire before being picked up by this repeater. So at about dusk the redstone signal from the light sensor will drop to 2, and so will no longer reach this repeater, and then this power will go off. And come along here, you can see that underneath the roads I've got this passage with the redstone wire going off each way and branching up either side to connect to the blocks under the trees. Right. So, that's that. Now, that's not much of a tutorial, so I think I will have to do an extra one for you. Right, after I've been and filled in this creeper hole. See you in a bit. Okay, tutorial time. Tutorial I did last time about the block swapper. I did it all in a bit of a hurry and I don't think I explained it very well, so I'll just go over it again briefly. The first thing I didn't explain very well was I was talking about ticks. Now, in a computer game, or generally in a computer program, a tick is a short period of time, usually less than a second, which it's not defined as any particular length of time. In Minecraft there's 2 different lengths of time which we refer to as a game tick, which is a 20th of a second, and a redstone tick, which is a 10th of a second. Now, in these 2 cases, the tick is the shortest time in which anything can take place. So a redstone tick, 1/10 of a second, is the shortest length of time that a redstone update can occur in. So, for example, when this redstone comes on, it'll take 1/10 of a second for this redstone torch to go off. Now, over here I've got a slightly changed version of the block swapper. I've taken out the sticky piston that pushes the blocks up, and I've spread out the wiring so that you can see it a bit better. I've also changed the button or pressure plate to this switch so that I can control things better. Now, the first thing you're going to see is when I flick the switch down, this redstone is going to come on, and one redstone tick later, these redstone torches will go out. But because the redstone wire comes on first, these 2 pistons are going to remain powered. Okay. There we go. I'll show that to you again in slow motion so that you can see the time tick, redstone tick delay. Okay, now when I flick the switch back off again, this redstone is going to be unpowered, and 1 redstone tick later these 2 torches are going to come on. That means that these 2 pistons are going to be unpowered for 1 redstone tick. That's 1/10 of a second. Now, it takes a piston 3 game ticks, that's 3/20ths of a second, to retract. So that's 1.5 redstone ticks. So by the time this torch comes back on, this piston will already be in the process of retracting. That means that when this redstone torch comes on as well, this piston will be able to extend or begin extending, whilst this one is still retracting. Okay, let's see that. Okay, and I'll do that in slow motion as well for you. Okay, now hopefully that makes sense to you, because now I want to show you something else we can do with the same trick. This is probably the most useful redstone component that I've actually know how to make. So I'll be right back with that. Okay, this is called either a T flip-flop or a toggle latch. It's basically a way of turning a button into a switch. When I press the button, as with the block swapper, the two pistons will effectively exchange places and the redstone block will move over, depowering this redstone line, which of course you could extend to whatever you want. So there we go. So basically every 2 presses of the button the redstone will be powered or depowered. Now you'll notice that this is laid out slightly differently. Here we've got the redstone line on top with the torches either side. These pistons will be powered diagonally from these blocks. Okay, so when this redstone is on, this block will be powered, which will power this piston. And also when the redstone is off, the redstone torch will come on, powering the piston from above. Okay, now you'll notice that as with the block swapper, the flip-flop changes state from on to off when the button pops out, when it's pressed in. So there's a little bit of a delay. We can improve on that by removing the button from here, placing a block above this redstone with a redstone torch on it, and putting the button onto that. That means that when the button is pressed, this redstone torch goes out and the T flip-flop switches state as soon as the button is pressed, rather than waiting for it to come out again. So that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Oh, I know why it didn't work, because I'm powering this block. Silly me. So we can't do that directly. How do I need to do this? Just a second. That's better. There we go. So now the pistons don't wait for the button to pop out to change over. Now you might be asking, what is the point on doing this? Why not just use a switch in the first place? Well, the thing is, you can hook up more than one button to this. So if I came around this side, set up the same thing, I can have another button on this side which works the same way. So I can use this as to turn it, say, on, and this one to turn it off. That gives you the opportunity to do something like this. Alright, we'll turn it on first. Walk down the passageway in the light. Turn the lights off when you get to the other end. Or of course you can use the buttons on either side of a sliding door, for example. This just works the same way. Got the redstone line coming around from that button, into here, to this block, the redstone torch above the T flip-flop, and you've got the line from the other button coming in from the other side. And then the output from there comes up here and goes along the line of lamps, and I've put a bit of a delay in between them just so that you can see the lights coming on a bit better. There we go. One thing I've used this for in the past is to replace the pressure plates on these sliding doors. One thing you have to watch out for with this, as it stands, is that if you hesitate in the middle, the doors will shut on you. They seem to have made a change to the game where you get pushed out of the way by that. Previously you'd start suffocating. Right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I will make another video for you soon, I would imagine. In the meantime, I'll see you later. Oh, one last thing. I haven't shown you my new skin. I got the basic skin off of Planet Minecraft. I'll put a link to it in the description. I've tinkered with the face a little, but this is me now. Right, see you again soon.